Ooh. Hello viewers, my name is Cem Selamet, and you're probably wondering why am I dressed in a cape and a beret? No reason. I'm here to present my iiNet Top Geek 2.0 fandom concept. Here we are. My fandom concept is a limited run comic book series titled The Magnificent Mustachio. This is the story of Australia's first real superhero. Our story begins with our main protagonist by the name of John Beardley. So Beardley is our everyday ordinary man who is actually a 9-to-5er. He works as a claims officer of all things at a national insurance company, which we won't name by name. Beardley actually has a rare condition known as alopecia universalis, which is a condition which renders him completely hairless from a young age, so he grows up with that. So the setting of our story is in Sydney, Australia in the year 2026. One day Beardley is walking home from a day's work when he feels some bird poo land on his shoulder, and he mistakenly just thinks nothing of it because he's already had a bad day. His boss has been giving him a lot of grief recently, so he just decides to not think much of it and move on. As a reader, what you'll find out at a later point is that a nanotech research system from the government's Ministry of R&D is frantically trying to destroy some research evidence as something or someone is after him. The assistant gets a chance to empty a canister of experimental nano-hairs out of an open window not long before he is murdered by an unknown entity. Beardley wakes up the following morning, walks past the bathroom mirror, and finds he has 3 days stubble from his facial and head follicles. He doesn't own a razor, so he gets ready for the workday, trying to think about it, and is in shock when he looks past the mirror again and sees he has a full set of hair, a fancy moustache, and a beard. Starting to panic now, the hair suddenly retracts back into follicles like that. After a few weeks of bearded vigilantism, Beardley has now taken the alias of Mustachio, a crime-fighting bearded man who can grow hair out of any follicle at will, whether it be his head, arms, leg or body, and use it in any way imaginable. Mustachio can apprehend a bank robber by using his beard to form a fist, punching the robber, and then leaving the robber for the proper authorities to collect. Mustachio can even create items as long as he can imagine it. He can form a shield to protect himself using the hair. He can form a catcher's mitt to catch something falling. He can form a grappling hook and a number of different types of hooks to attach with. He can even form mustacherangs, which are like batarangs except not a walking lawsuit. Mustachio can also climb cityscapes. He can lift rubble. He can catch falling people. And, more importantly, he can prepare himself for the coming nemesis. Enter the Rogues Gallery. Working in insurance alone will get you enemies, but for Mustachio, he has 3 prominent villains so far. Gumball. Gumball is one of the most dangerous enemies Mustachio can have. Gumball is a sentient blob of discarded chewing gum who has an extreme prejudice for moustache kind. Remember that old wives' tale about gum staying in your stomach for years? Well, Gumball can harness minions in those unfortunate people with gum still lying in their stomach. Watch out for this guy. Solid Evidence. Solid Evidence is a former Sydney patrol officer who was accidentally solidified in a concrete-related accident. When Beardley's insurance company wouldn't pay out his health insurance, Solid Evidence was born. This guy can wreak real damage on the city. Mustachio cannot let this happen. And thirdly, the mysterious Professor Coombs. Professor Coombs is a mastermind who should not be underestimated. This mad genius is responsible for the outbreak of mad beard disease, and also the incident which gave Beardley his nano-hair super abilities. More recently, Coombs has orchestrated an elaborate series of battles between Mustachio and the other rogues. Word is that he's forming a supervillain team to take down Mustachio. Due to the success of the concept of the Magnificent Mustachio, some Hollywood executives have actually got a film in the works, and well, we've shot some footage just to give them a bit of a sample. Here it is.
In a world where facial hair is outlawed, A place where bearded men, women, and children are hunted by their government. John Beardley was just an ordinary man working 9 to 5.
Damn it, Beardley. I told you to put cover sheets on these KPI reports.
Until his transformation. Now he is our only bearded savior.
So for my character concept, I thought of a superhero. I love comic books, so I always want to see a comic book hero that is somewhat different from the others. I thought hair was a good idea because one, me being a very hairy person and never shaving and rocking up to work with 2 weeks worth of stubble is probably not acceptable elsewhere, but so yeah, I went and created this character called Beardley, John Beardley, and he is the alias known as Mustachio the Magnificent. The point is that this guy had no hair to begin with because of his alopecia universalis. So this nanotech is supposed to go through any follicle in his body, whether it's arm hair, leg hair, back hair, head, beard. It can just create anything, any object. If I was to think of the character, I guess he has certain elements which remind me of other mainstream characters. He firstly reminds me, everyday man character reminds me a bit of Matt Murdock from Daredevil. He has a bit of a Spider-Man element where he can kind of climb around the city. He also has a bit of a comedy element with the Tick, the idea of growing hair. It just doesn't strike me as an everyday comic book character. And finally, the other character is the Green Lantern, because how else could a character just imagine things and it happen? Hair is a great idea. Thank you for watching my video for iiNet Top Geek 2.0, the fandom concept.